We are back. Thank you for rejoining us. Trash Talking with the Old Heads.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Part 2.
Hey, but for all the fans out there, man, please do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube, Trash Talking with the Old Heads. Also on Facebook, Trash Talking with the Old Head page. You can become a member on there. Also, going forward, we will have the Patreon page coming. So if you want to support this Old Head movement for $5 a month, we will have that Patreon page up and running in the coming weeks. We'll let you know when to be on the lookout for that. Again, it's only $5 per month. We definitely appreciate all the support. But let's get into our series, our Mount Rushmore series.
Yes, sir. I love Mount Rushmore.
I do too, man. It's not coming to an end either. We're going to have a lot of these Mount Rushmores, people. We might have a Mount Rushmore GOAT hip hop. We might have all kind of Mount Rushmores.
The Mount Rushmore of sexual predators.
Mount Rushmore of black actresses. We got all that coming. Who on your Mount Rushmore?
Mount Rushmore of porn stars. Cherokee the ass.
Cherokee the ass.
Pinky. Is Pinky on there?
Pinky like this.
Right. Fell off, boy.
Back to basketball.
She be pimping now.
Back to basketball.
We trying to describe our Mount Rushmore series.
The series we're going to have coming this summer, man.
The Mount Rushmore of running backs. Since he don't like to talk about his...
that Emmitt Smith is not in.
Extracurricular activities that he got on their laptop. Pull up their laptop. Let's see what's on that incognito page.
Right, hey, bro. We old heads. We don't give a damn what they think about us. We old. We don't care what they think about us. You know what I'm saying? But for now, we still are on basketball. Though.
Be the master of your own bastion.
Exactly. Hey, Mount Rushmore GOATs edition in the NBA.
The GOAT?
The GOAT edition. We ain't gonna get
That's why he's the GOAT!
We don't care what the
GOAT!
Your criteria can be whatever you want it to be. We're not even gonna get into all that. Your GOAT criteria is your GOAT criteria. Jerry, lead us off, bro. Mount Rushmore of GOATs in the NBA. Who you for, bro?
So when we were talking about this last night,
this is going to be ridiculous. Is what we're going to hear.
Completely.
Y'all had a whole lot to say about my list.
Hold on, I got to pull up.
I
got to pull up for this bullshit. He about
and I was trying my best to include other players.
You weren't.
But it was just hard to do. It's hard to do. And I'm still kind of torn. But I'm going to start off with one of the greatest winners in the history of the game, Mr. Bill Russell.
That's where we have a problem.
One of the greatest winners.
Houston, we have a problem.
Arguably the greatest defender the game has ever seen.
Based on what?
In this league.
Playing against me and you.
Right. Talk about plumbers.
After Bill Russell.
Mr. Russell gets a lot of respect and credit. Absolutely.
Yes, he does.
Not a GOAT in playing the game of basketball. Don't stop it,
bro.
And
and Dante is a fan who often who most often chimes in with he has a problem with
counting defense.
Offensive players not getting criticized for their lack of defense.
Right.
This is the reverse. This is what he
in the 60s and 50s.
This is what he champions. He champions defense, and then when you have a player like
when there was only one other big around who dominated him.
When you have what
are we talking about?
When you have a player who is all about defense and his defense,
and the rest of the greatest players was on his team.
His defense actually led to multiple championships, multiple MVP. That is 5. It should have been 6, but the racism card gave one to Kuzi, who had nice numbers, but it wasn't Bill Russell numbers. A shutdown defender that could defend all 5 positions.
Well, why he ain't the GOAT?
Was Mr.
Why he ain't the GOAT?
There was a time in history where he was considered the best basketball player of all time.
He was never considered the best basketball player of all time.
There was
In Boston.
there was a time that this man was considered the best.
Yeah, in Boston, he probably still is considered the GOAT.
because of
He's
his
the reason the
prowess
term greatest
and
winner came up.
champions.
Because they had to make a space for him.
Now,
Pull up his numbers.
Now,
man. I don't even have.
I'm already on it,
when
bro.
we
Pull up that man.
now
numbers.
when I go to my second player, I going back into it last night. I wanted to try
Hold
to
on,
see
folks.
if I could put.
Let's before we move on, because this is the contention. Because I think we had a similar Mount Rushmore. You had Bill, and I of course had none other than LeBron, Ramon, James. But we'll get to that.
15.1 points, 22 points.
Why don't you have him as the GOAT?
Who?
Bill Russell, 11 chips.
Because it's not just about chips. It's not just the reason I don't have him as the GOAT is because he didn't have an offensive prowess to match his defensive prowess. That's why.
So he was one-sided the other way.
That's what I said. That's what I said at the very beginning.
So how
I
can
said
you
that
be
we're
on the
talking
Rushmore?
about we're talking about
So how
one of the
can you be on the
greatest
Rushmore?
defenders. We're talking about one of the
So how can you
greatest
be on the
defenders
Rushmore?
and leaders ever.
Yeah, if you want to put a Mount Rushmore of great
All of his
defenders, then
teammates.
he's on there.
He on
Every
there.
teammate you hear in an interview, lauds.
Yeah,
about
the
his-
rest of them was great.
Lauds. No. He had players.
Outside of
listen to
Hal
this.
Greer and Wilt Chamberlain
Hal
and a
Greer
couple.
was-
Listen to this, though, G.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Here
Outside
are
of
the
them
facts.
dudes,
His field goal percentage, want to guess?
40-some%.
44%. Free throw percentage,
Now,
want to guess?
not a guard,
A big man.
a big man.
Free throw percentage, want to guess?
In an era where most of his contemporaries and the most of the people that he played
56.
was probably 5 or 6 inches shorter than him.
PER, 18.9.
18.9 PER.
Wilt, field goal percentage,
50s,
54%.
definitely in the 50s.
PER,
Less MVP.
26.2.
Less
Because they
MVP.
gave them to Bill Russell when they should have been Wilts.
They should have been Wilt.
And they gave them to Bill Russell.
less MVP.
Man, get the hell out of here
Did
with
they
that
give him the
bull, dog.
championships too? Because they had less.
And the
championships,
rebounds you talk about so much.
less championships.
More for Wilt, but add in 30.1 points per game.
This man led the league in rebounding 5 different times in his career with Wilt in the league.
Hey, man. He's not
And
better.
still average less rebounds than Wilt.
With
Bill
And
Russell.
still average less rebounds than
Bill
Wilt.
Russell
I
is
didn't know it's 5 years.
How many years did Wilt lead?
Don't matter.
Get on with the rest of your Mount
Yeah,
Rushmore.
go ahead with your boy.
I bet.
Yeah, 'cause
I bet you this.
You done told your
Hold
draws.
up. Y'all don't have. Yeah, I bet you this for all this stuff y'all talking about Wilt. I bet neither one of y'all got Wilt on your Mount Rushmore. But that's another.
Listen to this.
That's a whole
Wilt-
other question.
Okay, Bill Russell was a 4-time rebounding champ. Absolutely. Wilt, 11-time rebounding champ.
7 more times.
What the hell are we talking?
He was a 5-time rebounding champ.
I guarantee you this, I got Wilt better than Bill Russell.
5.
Bill Russell, 7-time scoring. Wilt, 7-time scoring champ. How many scoring titles do your boy got?
None.
Oh, okay. All right.
Too busy on the defensive end,
Okay.
disrupting everything.
Okay.
So I then started taking my attention to trying to see if I could get Jerry West on my Mount Rushmore.
If you
but
consider-
I couldn't do it. He didn't have enough room.
The fact that you consider Jerry
about
West
that.
as on your Mount
He's one
Rushmore,
of the greatest players of all time.
Yeah,
his
it's a
stat
bunch
line-
of 'em.
His stat line at the point guard is damn
we're
near
talking
unmatched.
about the Mount Rushmore, the greatest of the greats.
I get it, and I'm talking about my breakdown of greatest of the greats. Jerry
I-
West is one of the greatest of the greats.
He's a great,
So
but he definitely
I had
not
to
greatest
I had
of
to
the greats.
skip over Jerry West and move on over to
Jerry
Mr. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Just tell us who your Mount
Okay.
Rushmore is, sir. We
That's
can get to
number
your.
2 when you're talking about grade school, high school, college, NBA. He did it all. He dominated it all at a very high level. So definitely couldn't tell the NBA story without Mr. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Here we go with this. What did we
After-
say last?
after
there are a
Kareem-
lot of players that
after
you can't
Kareem-
tell the NBA story without.
After Kareem,
That shouldn't even be a consideration.
I had to go with Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson, one of the players that is credited, he and Larry Bird credited for saving the NBA, popularizing the NBA, bringing the NBA out of a drug culture and bringing it into its rivalry existence. When you're talking about the
they still was doing drugs.
I say it's still the drug.
They still was on that beer and butter.
Continue
Most definitely.
Shout out Mike Pete.
Continue the rivalry with the two greatest franchises that the league has ever seen. When you're talking about the Boston Celtics and their 18 championships, and then the LA Lakers has 17 championships. So Magic Johnson, one of the greatest leaders who came into the league
Kinda
as
like
a
Bama
rookie
with
and
them
won a
chips in the 20s and
championship.
shit.
Very dominant player at the point guard position.
Don't you talk
Truly
about
a player
Bama.
we had
That's-
never seen.
Don't you talk
In
about
that
Bama.
There's just a correlation between the two.
ever,
there. You know what I'm saying?
ever in the history of the game. And then, of course, my fourth and final player in the story and history of basketball when we're talking about Mount Rushmore is no other than Michael Jeffrey Jordan, the greatest NBA basketball player of all time, undisputed. Bill Russell.
I mean, when you look at yours, it's just clear who don't belong. You know what I'm saying? It's clear who don't belong.
All right, say it because you brought up so many names. Man. So who was it again?
Russell, Kareem,
Bill
Magic,
Russell, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar,
Magic
Magic Johnson,
and Mike.
and Michael.
All right.
and it's
Jordan.
clear who don't belong on that damn list.
Yes, we
Go
all
ahead,
know.
though.
All right.
The
So-
Dennis Rodman of the '60s.
I have the other three that you have on there. MJ, of course, needs no introduction. Absolutely the greatest of all time. Absolutely, there's no dispute,
No arguments.
no argument that MJ is on the Mount Rushmore. Probably if you want to rank
Goat
one,
of goats.
yeah, he's the first
He's the
head.
Billy Goat.
He's the first head on that Mount Rushmore.
Right, he's the first one.
Okay, we don't even have to bring up his bona fides. Kareem, 6-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, second leading scorer of all
Don't
time.
get as much respect as he deserves, man.
He definitely gets enough respect.
He can get-
The cap
he
gets.
does not.
That's because he wasn't a media darling. Then you got to bring up Magic. Of course, the Magic Man definitely saved the league along with Larry Bird, like you said. One of the greatest players to dominate a game without scoring as much. And of course, the one that we knew you weren't going to put on your Mount Rushmore before we even start. When we started this Mount Rushmore, we knew that we were going to be talking about the GOATs. It's LeBron James, 4-time Finals MVP, 4-time MVP. Only 3 players with more MVPs: Mike, Kareem, and Bill. Only 1 player with more Finals MVPs: Mike. Leading all-time scorer. All time. Only player to lead both teams in all categories in the statistical, when you talk about stats, blocks, points, rebounds, assists, steals. In the finals, both teams done it twice. Miss me with the losses because we can break those down. Championships are more of a team component. Of course, losing.
Break it down to the Bills. That's about it.
Losing is also a team accomplishment as well. In the finals, might I add.
Dude said we can break those.
In the finals, might I add.
We can break those.
There's no discussion. MJ, Bron, Kareem, Magic.
Man, I've been debating this shit all night. My first 3 are exactly like yours: MJ, Kareem, Magic. I had some thoughts on Bron. I thought about the team hopping and the super team building. I thought about longevity versus
Still ain't got but 4 championships.
the longevity of the 4-6 record. I thought about all that. You know, no real signature dynasty. You know what I'm saying? That
No dynasty.
no dynasty. That I thought about it. You know what I'm saying? And then you got to weigh that versus all the numbers. You know what I'm saying? And I still had to land on Bron. I tried my damnedest to think of a way maybe because the whole super team building. I hate to do this, but the whole super team building really fucks with me. You know what I'm saying? But it's the era we're in. You have to judge eras based on the era that they're in. Did he start the era? you can argue it. You know what I'm saying? You can argue it. You know what I'm saying? That he started.
Y'all don't. Everybody don't believe that the fucking Boston Celtics did the same fucking thing.
They didn't. But
Okay.
I mean, I think it was more done by the front office. I don't think the players did it.
KG.
I think did they approve going? Sure.
No, KG and Paul Pierce talked about it before they got the shit rolling. The year before it happened.
Which one of them was the best player in the league when they did that?
What does that even matter?
It does matter.
You can make that argument.
What does it even matter?
Does matter.
Buddying up, you can make the argument they buddied up.
At the time that it happened, Kobe was considered one of the greats. It wasn't just LeBron as the best player in the league.
Left the Cleveland Cavaliers, they said that the only thing he didn't have
was a championship.
Was the
a championship.
The right players around him in order for him to win a championship.
And
the man leaves Cleveland, goes to Miami with now who we know as possibly the third greatest shooting guard of all time and another perennial all-star in Chris Bosh. If all he needed was better players around him to win a championship, then please explain to me why throughout all of his finals appearances, when he loses, he gets the dog shit beat out of him still in the finals. It's either a sweep, most likely a sweep, or most likely a gentleman's sweep. So tell me,
I'll tell you
how
why.
in the world
we can't.
The only thing you can say, I answer the question. The only thing you can say is it's somebody else's fault. Somebody did. That's all you can go to. If all he needed was better players around him, and he got into the front offices himself and helped build his teams and make his teams better, he still didn't. He made his teams better, got with better players, and still was losing in the freaking finals.
Dallas
getting
LeBron's
destroyed.
Fault. There was no question.
LeBron's
fault.
Getting
against San Antonio
in those matchups. Destroyed.
Was D Wade healthy?
Not completely.
I don't want to hear.
Was D Wade healthy?
I don't want to hear this.
What did Chris Bosh do?
I just said he got a point.
What did Chris Bosh do?
He's gonna blame somebody else.
No,
I just told you that.
Okay,
I just told you what he was gonna do. He's gonna blame other people.
Didn't we just have
for this man to be able to build his own team and still not win but 4 championships?
You still need fucking players to compete.
Is asinine and less incredible of a player.
Was D Wade hurt?
Was better players.
Was D Wade hurt?
Why is he still getting destroyed?
Let me ask this question.
That's ridiculous.
Let me ask
I don't want to hear.
Was D Wade hurt?
So, how much credit do you get for 10 appearances?
They give him way too much.
I don't give him that much credit. I mean, that is an accomplishment. Being in the finals is being in the finals.
I give him
being in the finals is being in the finals. You know what I'm saying? But when you wanna harp on 6 losses, okay, first finals, he was fucking 22.
Hey man, stop.
First finals, he was 22 going against hold on now. You had your time. You had your time.
You had your time
You
can say to make those.
Because you don't want to listen to the truth.
I've already mentioned that he got his ass beasted. Why are you repeating it?
Can I finish?
I've already said it.
At 22, you gonna just lay that at his feet.
Beast it.
You gonna lay that at his feet at 22?
Did he play?
Because that's all you talking about is 6
Did
finals.
he play?
So we got to break down the losses.
Did he play?
We got to break down the losses.
Did he play great?
He didn't play great. He was 22. Just like you just gave Ant excuses.
I didn't give Ant any excuses.
Yes, the fuck you did. You just did it.
No, I didn't. I didn't give him any excuses. I didn't give him any.
Didn't he just say at 23?
No, he said he don't get any excuse. I said, it should be a reason. He said no, he don't get no pass.
He gets a pass because he's 23.
Get a pass.
And he got the Eastern Conference Finals. And number one, again, 22, lost to the dynastic Celtics. With a team with no other, not even a sniff of being an all-star.
All of that is
Stop.
reality.
Hold on. Let me finish. So I'm not going to give him no excuses for the Mavericks loss. I ain't even going to give him no excuses against the Spurs. But we do know they probably would have lost because the Spurs was just that much better. I don't know if D-Wade had been healthy. We're going to leave that to the side. There's 2 L's that we will say, okay, you should have won that. 2015. Or was it 2015 against the... Hold on. Don't even say nothing. I let you cook. 2015. He don't want to hit.
The Spurs final cancels out itself. Don't be talking to me about no if this and if that. because it was 4
All right, well, okay, good,
Beast.
great. Food, good.
Healthy. Beast.
2015. Did Mike play without Scottie Pippen or Horace Grant? Did Mike play without Scottie Pippen or Tony Kukoc?
He had He had Pippen Howard in the finals one year. The man back.
One fucking game.
The man was out there. No, it was
one game.
It was
one game. One game.
It was the game he got hurt in.
One fucking
It was the
game.
game he was hurt in.
One fucking game. How many games did LeBron play without Kyrie and Kevin Love? All of them.
Was he up?
All of them.
Was he up in the series?
All of them.
Did he lead the series?
It don't matter.
Did the Cavs lead that series?
What does that fucking matter?
Did the Cavs lead that final series, Greg? Yes or no?
Did Mike play without Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant?
So you don't want to answer. I'll answer it yes.
He did?
The Cavs led in that series.
Did Mike play without Scottie Pippen and Horace Grant?
What?
No. So you can't just put that on him. Was it a loss?
I don't even know why you even
but you can't put that on him.
You shouldn't be mentioning Michael Jordan at all in this conversation.
That's a loss. So then we got 3 valid losses against 2 losses that you really just can't.
Counting L.
Him by itself. 2018, another finals without a sniff of an all-star on his team.
Just another L.
So what you talking about?
Bunch of L's.
So what we talking about?
Bunch of L's.
So what we talking about? You gave him credit for getting there.
I can tell you what we talking about.
You gave him credit for getting there.
We're talking about somebody that had 10 opportunities to prove without a shadow of a doubt that he's the greatest basketball player we have ever seen on this planet.
We're not talking about the greatest. We're talking about the greatest of all time. We're talking about the GOAT, Mount Rushmore.
And you know what he did? He proved that he was not. That's what he did in the finals. He proved that he was not.
Did he prove that he wasn't one of the 4 greatest players of all time?
If that man had been 9-1, 8-2, maybe even 7-3, maybe even 6-4 in the finals.
It's the discussion about the greatest of all time.
Guess what?
No.
Guess
what is it about? The 4 greatest players of all time.
We would not be having that discussion.
Again,
it's a lot more than that, Greg. To me, it's a lot more than that.
Again, I'm ask you this. I'm ask you this.
I'm
ask you this. Out of those 3 finals that I'm disputing should be totally. There's 3 finals that we can put on him that he didn't win. Definitely won, but there's 3 others that he played without any fucking all-star help, whether that was through injury or just didn't have the pieces on his team. Did Kareem ever do that? No.
Do what?
Did Bill ever do that?
Do what?
Play without his 2nd and 3rd best player, or play without a great player, another great player on his team? No. Mike? No. Magic? No. Kareem? No. Wilt? No. Bird? No. None of them. How many? I just told you, how many great players got more than 4 final MVPs? 1. How many great players got more than 4 or more than 3 MVPs? 3. So that means, and when you add all that up, and he's the leading all-time scorer of all time with his game, when we look at the court and we see what he does on the court, that equals 4.
And show me his.
He's in the top 4.
And show me his reign. Show me his dynasty. Show me his reign over the league, like the 4 players I mentioned. Russell reigned over the league, dynastic team. Kareem reigned over the league, dynastic team. Magic Johnson, dynastic team.
Okay.
Michael Jordan, dynastic team.
To me, that's the main thing. Against. That's the main one. I still have him on mine. But that's the main thing against him. You know what I'm saying?
That he don't have no dynasty.
You went and built teams.
Now, if you want to say the Heat.
Thank you.
That ain't no dynasty. How was it a dynasty?
Okay. Being on a dynasty.
Don't tell me he a dynasty and he got beasted by Dallas. That's crazy. And then at the end of it, left Miami when he got beasted by the oldest Spurs team we have ever seen.
Kareem played with one of the top 5 greatest players of all time.
And was on a dynasty.
Bill Russell played with all of the great players in his era.
On a dynasty.
Yeah, he was. We can't even count Bill. We discount that shit.
That shit
we
is
even
like,
discount
that's like
that
Bama
shit.
in the 20s and 30s and shit. That
dynasty.
Shit don't count.
Where is his dynasty? For him to be one of the greatest of all times, which he is one of the great. Don't get me confused.
Bird had a dynasty.
I don't consider the teams Bird was on a dynastic team.
But you got him up there. You got him up there. Don't you got Bird as your honorable mention?
What is Bird? Well, I went back and looked at that. I told y'all that. I went back and looked at that. I don't know who I would have next up, but it would have to include it's not Bron. It would have to include
we know it ain't Bron. You won't give Bron credit for nothing.
It would have to include like
won't even give him credit for being an all NBA player this year at 40.
Jared West would be my next.
Stop it.
Jared West would be my next.
With all those final losses. With Wilt Chamberlain as his running mate and Elgin Baylor.
Jared West would probably be my
Why? Explain why, sir. Explain why. Because you hate Bron? Just say it.
Why would I say that? I don't hate Bron.
Yeah, it is. Because you have you've painted yourself into a corner. It's got to be a dynastic run.
I don't have Bron on the Mount Rushmore. Well, first of all, none of the players that I'm mentioning are on the Mount Rushmore. So is to just try to fight for Bron makes no sense. I'm telling you.
No, you're fighting against Bron. You're fighting you're fighting against the current. You ever been in the river and you had a riptide in the ocean? You're swimming against the current.
What I am saying is there is no way that Bron could make it to my Mount Rushmore of basketball, of NBA basketball, when I'm talking about the NBA story. Because everybody after Mike, thus far to me, falls up under Mike's umbrella.
My question, though,
you gotta stop with all this.
You brought up the 4 and 6 as a big thing against Bron, but you got Jerry West next, and he won in 8 in the finals. Yeah. I'm just talking about criteria.
Explain.
I'm trying to
explain.
That don't make sense.
Be consistent.
He won in 8.
Now you can't reverse course because you done planted your chair. You done planted that flag out there. I tried to give you an hour.
1 and 8.
1 and 8.
And had some loaded ass teams.
No, not really.
Man, them Lakers team. Man.
Not really. His running mate for most of his career was Elgin Baylor, and Elgin Baylor was a beast. But he just couldn't stay healthy when they got to.
Oh,
he couldn't stay healthy. Well, I haven't mentioned him. That's why I haven't mentioned him.
Again, okay.
Your argument falling off the rails, bro.
Yeah. So again, if we look at at least 2 teams. We're going to take out the 2015. We know that was an injury. We know if Kevin Love and Kyrie had played, that was a win. We know that Bron played with subpar talent in 2018 and in 2007. Subpar talent. And he was 22.
I'm not looking for an excuse for Bron.
It's not an excuse. I'm just going at your reason. I am attacking your reason for not including him in the greatest of all time.
I can't put him.
I didn't say over Mike.
Oh, so you switching?
What are you talking about?
You switching to greatest of all time.
Yeah, not the GOAT. The greatest.
I said he's
the Mount Rushmore.
I've always.
The Mount Rushmore.
I can't put him on the Mount Rushmore, not when I got Bill Russell out there, not when I got Magic Johnson out there, not when I have Kareem out there, not when I have Mike.
How
can I put him over?
We already slapped your Bill Russell.
Y'all need to have the
team accomplishment.
Y'all need to have the discussion of why y'all put Bron.
No, you need to have that discussion. Y'all
need to decide why y'all did.
You need to have that discussion.
Same reason Dennis Rodman wouldn't be on my
You need to have that discussion.
Dennis Rodman ain't never been the leader of any team he's been on.
Bill Russell wouldn't be on the Mount Rushmore over Shaq, over Hakeem,
the best player
over Larry Bird, over Kobe, over Wilt Chamberlain. There are 5 players.
Let me ask you. You're starting a team. You're putting 6'9" Bill Russell over Hakeem Olajuwon.
Over 6'8" LeBron.
No, just not. I'm about to test you here for real. Talking about the skill. We going straight by skill level. You get to pick one. We
ain't talking about the championship.
We ain't talking about no chips. You starting your team. Being honest, bro. Who you taking?
Between Dream and Russell.
Yes.
I'm gonna take Dream.
All right, then.
Okay.
Stop
All
it.
right, so
stop
it
playing with
the
me.
whole Mount Rushmore.
Stop playing with me.
If you wouldn't take Bill, he can't be on the Mount Rushmore.
That's not true.
If you want to take him over,
no, that's because
bruh,
depending upon that.
No, because now when I ask you that question, you got to get into basketball and playing the game of basketball.
And that's what we talking about.
And that's what we talking about.
That's what we talking about.
But Magic ain't my first point guard choice. When I want a point guard, Magic is not my first point guard choice.
Why not?
I take Jason Kidd over Magic.
You doing preferences now. That's preference.
No, I do. I take Jason Kidd over Magic.
In what
Who
way
the
is
better
he
basketball player?
In what way is he better than
Who the better basketball
Magic?
player? Who the better basketball player?
Defensively, and by the end of his career, he had become a much better 3-point shooter. So if I'm building a team, if I'm building a team,
who's the better basketball player, Kidd or Magic? Playing the game basketball. Who better?
Now,
Exactly.
You ought to be ashamed
So
of
you
yourself.
trying to flip it and shit, but
you ought to be ashamed of yourself.
Bill don't belong.
You ought to be ashamed of
Bill
yourself.
don't belong in this conversation. Bill does not belong in this.
Let me answer the question.
Mr. Russell does not belong in this conversation.
The reason why we didn't let you answer because we want America to take us seriously.
Right. Mr. Russell does not belong. God rest his soul. He does not belong in this conversation, bruh. It's just obvious, bro. He does not belong in the conversation. If you want to talk greatest winners, absolutely. Greatest teammates and all that shit, but miss
5
me.
MVP.
Miss me when he let Wilt score 50 points a game and all that shit. Miss me with all that, bro.
I think he has 5 MVPs. I think he's one of only 2 players to have 3 MVPs.
Have you looked at the numbers on those seasons that Wilt had?
In a row.
Have you looked at Wilt's numbers on his MVP?
I have. And in one of those
seasons. Once they gave it to Mr. Russell.
And in one of those seasons. And in one of those seasons, I don't even think Wilt Chamberlain's team had 50 wins.
Jared, Steve Nash
got a losing record.
Steve Nash got 2 MVPs.
That we know don't belong to him.
Over Kobe.
That we know don't belong to him.
One of them he definitely deserved over Kobe.
Well, you can argue that, but we know that
one of them, yeah, for sure.
We know that he wasn't the best player. He wasn't the most valuable player.
Right, a lot of politics in that.
Stop it.
I
he wasn't better than Tim Duncan. He wasn't better than Shaq at that time.
And back then when Mr. Russell was getting him, they looked at team success. It was one of the
and they still do.
Okay, well, so that's
why he got it. But he wasn't the best player.
I believe that Steve Nash, in one of those seasons, I don't know which one I would have to go.
How can you be the most valuable player on a loaded team? They don't do that these days. That counts against you when you're on a loaded team.
That's a different time, man. You only had so many teams in the league.
Exactly. That's why you can't count him in.
Yes, you can, because he was the greatest. He was the great. If you ask his teammate, he was the greatest leader. He's definitely the greatest defender we've ever seen. One of the greatest rebounders we've ever seen. One of the greatest leaders we've ever seen. The greatest winners we've ever seen.
You ask LeBron teammates, they say he's the greatest leader.
Right.
You discount that though.
No, I don't discount.
Yes, you do.
I watched LeBron his entire career, sir. Watched him his entire career.
And he's led 4 title teams and a couple of slow-ass teams to the finals.
Yep.
That's what he's done.
He was good enough to get there. You're right.
And he's been the greatest scorer of all time. He's been in the top 4. He's the top 4 of assists all time. He has
the most points.
He has 4 finals MVPs,
he has the most points,
which is second amongst all the GOATs.
He ain't never been the greatest scorer of all time, so miss me with that.
Well, he's the all-time leading scorer.
He has the most points scored in a 22-plus odds, 22.
And he passed the leader at 20, the same amount of years that he played.
Okay, great. Okay, that's okay. He's played a long ass time to get there.
He played the same amount of years as Kobe Bryant, as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Okay, great. He played a long time.
And he passed. He passed them both.
All I want you to do is to never say that he was the greatest scorer ever, because that's not true.
You know what I mean. We know Mike is the greatest scorer of all time.
Well, great.
We know that the all-time leading scorer, though, is none other than LeBron James.
Okay, great. Kudos. That's great. That's a great accomplishment. It was great when he did it.
And he passed him.
And I said
he passed Mike.
When he did
passed Mike at the same amount of years that Mike played.
When he did it, I said as much. When he did it,
he passed Mike. He passed Mike.
That's a
great, with 1,000 less shots.
That don't matter, but
it do matter.
That's a great notch.
It do fucking matter.
That's a great notch on.
It fucking does matter. What are you talking about?
It doesn't. It doesn't. That's a great notch on his belt that he's the all-time leading.
It's the same argument y'all use. If I fuck the bitch 10 times, if I win and fuck the bitch 6 times, and you win and fuck her 4 times out of 10, then that means that's the same shit I be hearing on there.
Be so perverse, man.
I know. I am sorry, but that's you ain't heard that before. I think it's the look. America, you ain't. It is.
I think this the look.
I'm drinking Ciroc brandy right now.
I think it's the look.
I done went from whiskey to brandy.
But while we still got you a little focus, man, let's take this trash out. You know the segment. Taking out the trash, bruh. This week, man, we got to drag your boy Zion Williamson into the alley, bruh. Sexual assault allegation.
Into the alley? We dragged him out to the alley, dog?
I gonna drag him out in the alley, bruh. Forgive him getting caught up in some bullshit like that. Jerry, what's your thoughts on the whole situation? Again, we not parsing out no guilt or anything like that. But just talking about these young brothers, man, who, and in this particular case, Zion, I'm getting caught up in this kind of shit, man. And being an old head, man, for me, I'm tired of seeing these young dudes going through this bullshit, dog.
Who could not see this coming down the pipe for Mr. Zion? When you don't keep the main thing, it could cost you a shot at everything. I know that rhymes. I wasn't trying to. But the point is, this dude's sexual preferences and choices have been out here ever since he came into the league. As soon as he came into the league, the first thing we talked about was athleticism. Second thing we talked about was his inability to stay healthy. And then the third thing was his choice in women. Because he was going after these older, seasoned, adult film workers, paying them for their services and their time. And then, instead of allowing the exchange of money to be the contract, so to speak, of their relations. No, he pretended to be in relations with these women. So now if you pretend to be in relations, you're trying to hide the other women that you're paying to sleep with or to be around or what have you. Which creates this unnecessary tension around your life, around your professional life, around your everyday life, where you have these women who you have no intention of being with them outside of the bedroom, but you are allowing them to affect your regular, normal life. It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I will never, ever forget the tweet that was revealed when he said, you will be well paid for your time. In so many words, he had that in a text. And my first thought when I read that was, if I saw it, a man that don't give 2 damns about his sex life, how many women on this planet saw him as the straight sucker target that he is? This man is a willing participant.
A field, if you will.
So many women. I would be willing to guarantee that every woman that tried to contact him after they saw that is somebody that's been trying to get him because they saw the sucker and the target right on his freaking forehead and on his wallet. Like Dante said, we tired of seeing this. Everybody should be tired of seeing this. It's an old story, but it proves one thing, that even though with all that talent and success and fame, that you can still have somebody who is so square and so green and so wet behind the ears on so many other aspects of life that it is impossible for them to have it together. I mentioned just the other day that I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, because I have mentioned on several of occasions that his circle is not strong enough for him to do what he's trying to do. It's impossible, because how are we this far down the road and this man still can't get his weight under control? Where's his mom? I know he has a stepfather in his life. Where are these people who should be in his ear about trying to sustain what he has or what he's gained. They should be trying to get him to sustain that and improve upon that so they can have generational wealth for years to come. Where are those people in the circle? Where are the agents that helped him get these shoe contracts? Where are these people that want to ensure that he continues to be an earner doing the thing that he says he loves to do? I have to question his love for the game when he makes these types of decisions, when he makes a decision to not stay in shape, when he makes a decision to continue to mess around with women who clearly see him as a target, his sexual, I have to question his sexual preferences with these type of women. I don't understand it because I know I will have people in my circle that could get me back on my square in these type of situations, or even just friends and homeboys. I'm not blaming them, but I'm just asking, where are they? Because clearly this man has not been making the right choices. And now you're about to lose, and you're about to lose big. I can see New Orleans coming up off him. They have a reason now to definitely come up off of him. This is needless and unnecessary if you live your life a certain way, to steer away from these type of women. But he drove his car right into him.
Before you go, G, so just his lawyer has fired back. I think they have countersued. He's basically come out and said, I'm paraphrasing, but everything is false, basically, stating that this is her third set of attorneys, and it looks like I'm basically a money grab, financial motive or whatever.
No doubt about it.
That he never dated the woman. It was a consensual, casual relationship that began when he was 18. So, look like he's been making these bad decisions for a minute now.
Since he was a high school phenom.
You know what I'm saying? So,
at Duke.
G,
in
what
Durham.
you think, bro?
There's too many stories out there for you to be a simp like this, dog. You got too much bread at stake. Putting yourself in these situations constantly over and over again, allowing a porn star to put your business out in the streets. You know what I'm saying? And now, again, with you saying that's been going on, a relationship that started.
Star. Not even a star.
Well, she out there.
A performer.
Yeah, she out there. Well, regardless, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just saying.
She putting the business out for public consumption. She busting it wide open.
And I guess I shouldn't say it's a young man thing. Of hell, your boy Shay. Same bullshit. So I guess.
Well, he wasn't with a porn star. Give him some credit.
No, I'm just saying, getting caught up in the same kind of situation. You know what I'm saying? So I
Man,
guess it ain't a young man thing.
No.
Give him some credit.
No.
Man. Give him some.
No.
Give him some leisure.
No.
Again, we don't know. We haven't lived the lifestyle. Don't have the type of bread. Don't have the access, or didn't have the access because we married. So me and Dante would never, ever, ever be in a situation to where we have to deal with these hot, fast assholes.
Facts.
These Instagram stars. Jerry, you might have to deal with that shit, but
Not ever.
me and Dante, we secure in our
Not
relationships.
ever. Not ever going to have to worry about J-Ren being simped out by nobody, especially no one's not going to happen.
I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? When you have access to all that money, you have access to whatever, you know what I'm saying?
Everybody
and whoever
stay
you
on
want.
your payroll and don't want to tell you shit that you
You know what I'm saying? So I can't speak from a knowledge base, but I can speak from the OG standpoint, from a knowledge of self, knowledge of experience, seeing things happen, you know what I'm saying, and hearing stories of people having to go. And I'm pretty sure you've been given access to this information. Zion.
Bring 18-year-old Greg to the chair.
Bring 18.
Did you get caught up in that? Put 18-year-old Greg in the chair.
This dude finna say yeah.
Put 18-year-old Greg in that chair.
With 200,
and you got
150 million. 150 million.
Put 18-year-old Greg in the chair.
Go ahead and say it. Tell your truth.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. But I would not be knocking off all of the dimes. Whatever is available to me. You know what I'm saying?
And see, that's my thing too. To me, my bread would be top of mind for me. I think, because we don't know. Like you said, you don't. my bread would be top of mind.
I'm going back to at that time. See, at that time, we didn't have to deal with all this social media stuff.
Okay, put 18-year-old Greg nowadays with the social media stuff.
Again,
I still think my bread would be top of my mind.
Right. So I can't put, because I don't, I didn't grow up
with it like that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So the way that we think about stuff.
Right, it's totally different.
It's totally different than the way that they think about stuff.
Yeah.
For me,
18-year-old
well, for me, definitely not, because
18-year-old me with, you know what I'm saying? Okay, because I got to think. So now I got to put myself in an athlete situation. So I got discipline. I got access to information.
They throwing it.
I got people that's in my ear.
They throwing it at you.
I had a pops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I had my mom was, you know what I'm saying, in my life.
Who didn't give a damn how much money I had.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So I would have, in me being a responsible person, I can't put myself in them shoes, because that's just, what he's doing is irresponsible.
And at 18,
I was more responsible
than that. Right.
Now, of course, I was a little bit more immature.
Right.
But I was a little bit more responsible than what he's doing. I didn't have access to the money, but I had access to, I believe I would have had access to the information and the guidance.
The guidance. That's the thing.
And I believe that I would have been able, I would have listened to
that guidance. And the men who were in my life were, okay, and see, they talking, I'm listening.
And that's my point. See, my rearing, I didn't have my father. My dad died when I was like going into the second grade. So my training as far as toward that would be, especially with the money part, number one, I would have never paid. Never paid for it. Like, that was, I remember those talkings. Like, it ain't worth money. Somebody that's asking you for money is somebody out there that all you gotta do is have a conversation. Somebody that likes you or whatever. The most important thing is that you don't take their feelings and do hurtful things to hurt their feelings. Like, just be straight up. And then by the time I got to high school, I had female cousins, older, grown, that was giving me the game, telling me not to, hey, don't fall so hard for women.
First one you meet.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I'm saying? You're in high school, you're young, you got plenty of time to develop who you're gonna be as far as your pursuit of women and relationships or whatnot. So don't. So I'm super thankful for that aspect of it, because that's the opposite side. But I've had uncles and people and older friends.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate though, Jerry. It's a different time, man. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That's not gonna overthrow what's in me.
Well, you have to think about societal norms, societal changes. You know what I'm saying? Would your aunts have given you that same game had they cousins giving you that same game, or
they came up in the social media era?
They came up in a different era than we had. We don't know. So, we don't know, because the things change. Like nowadays, when you see people out here today, and I was asking Chris this the other day, like, this was a friend of mine. You know what I'm saying? He's recently back in the game. He's about my age. And he was saying that, there's a percentage of women that are looking for that. They just looking for a come up.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get into conversation with a female, and then the first thing they ask you is, can you get my nails done? Like, we ain't even together. Why would I even
entertain that shit?
You know what I'm saying? But that's the type of men that they're dealing with these days. We didn't grow up like that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We grew up like, it's all about your mouthpiece and then whatever.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, whatever's whatever. We always grew up with don't pay these. But nowadays, do you have to compete with what you got to compete with? Because they obviously paying.
Right.
The women wouldn't ask if that wasn't being done for them.
But
the lifestyle that they trying to live, they trying to get thrown out.
They turned Cheesecake Factory into a negative thing.
But
exactly.
You know what I'm
Back in the day, Cheesecake Factory would have been, man, you probably was beaten for 2 years off of that shit.
But when you
he took me to the Cheesecake Factory, girl.
When you say that though,
these days, man, that's like saying you took me to fucking Golden Corral.
Right.
When you say these days versus those days, it's no different. It's been people have been paying for relations since the beginning of
societal norms are different though, Jerry. They change.
They do change.
There's a reason they call them societal norms because they change.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
the thing that I'm saying that hasn't changed is the fact that it's something that is done.
Yeah.
The only thing social media does is exposed
everybody to it.
Is exposed
right, and so that's what changes a lot of people's expectations and perceptions of things that we just talked about.
Because they live life on social media.
It's like you brought up Shannon Sharp, right?
You brought up Shannon Sharp.
No, you brought up Shannon Sharp.
I did.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. So when Shannon first started his podcast, right? I was a fan. I used to watch. Once he added Ocho, I started watching less.
So Nightcap Nightcap always been with Ocho. You talking about Club Shay Shay?
He was doing that first.
Yeah, that wasn't a podcast. That was more of just a.
It's a
podcast. In a way.
It's a podcast. It's a podcast.
Basically. Yeah.
So once he added Ocho, I started watching less because over the years I've grown a very high disdain for who Ocho Cinco is. Very high for a bunch of different reasons. But the more I saw Sharp start acting like Ocho, as in willing to say any and everything and have any conversation. See, I would never fall under that because I'm not going to have any and every conversation with the world like that. I'm not going to be talking about the type of positions I like. I'm not going to be on there talking about the physiques I like. I'm not going to ever do that. I don't have a desire to share that with the world. I don't understand why Shannon Sharp, who built up a big time program for himself, or a big time business for himself online, would choose to be having conversations like that just to gain. It's for the money, I guess.
Yeah,
you're going to bring in more money, but
there's
all
content.
money. Doc Rick used to say it all the time, and still say it. You can't never have too much money, right? But on the back end of that, all money ain't good money. All money ain't good money. And I guarantee you in these lawsuits, I guarantee you in these lawsuits,
on your situation.
Exactly.
I guarantee you in these lawsuits.
We're seeing people make that choice.
But listen, I guarantee you
Cassie made that choice.
In these lawsuits, these people are using their own words against them. They going through Club Shay Shay and Nightcap and pulling verses and pulling statements and stuff out there to put into to use it against them. So
I mean, I tend to agree with you on the point that I think my upbringing and stuff wouldn't be different because the people who are bringing me up are the same. So I tend to agree with you that I could have navigated it, but they got a lot of shit to deal with nowadays, man.
That's what I'm saying. I ain't saying that. I'm not saying that I disagree with what you're saying, but I guess the point that you forgive me for interrupting,
bro.
But it's just a different time, so you don't know how that impacted even the people that was around you.
Yeah. Outside
so
factors didn't really impact us like that. You know what I'm saying?
I can't say with 100% certainty that, I would be different than where Zion is today. He grew up at 16, 15 years old in high school as a star.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's different. You know what I'm saying? Your mindset changes. You can't honestly sit here and say, Jerry, that you would be different and you would be the same person.
At 19,
had
you're
you been
the breadwinner in your family.
Right. 15.
Right. You're
16, you're a social media star just off your videos or you playing basketball.
You're the breadwinner and everybody in your circle knows it.
But I do want to get back to his trashness though.
Right.
Because
it is a part that's trash on him.
Outside of the sexual, you not being able to control your sexual desires.
Right.
If you look at the numbers, he putting in work.
Yeah.
When he plays, 24, 7, and 4.5 on damn near 6% shooting.
He is the perfect weapon for this era, no doubt about it.
But he's played 230 games in 6 years.
And he's missed more games than he's played.
What is that? How many games, how many years is that combined? If you put them games in.
Divided by 82.
Divided by 82, so damn near 3 years.
And he been in the league how long?
Not even
6 years.
Yep.
It ain't even 3.
Talk about stealing.
Yep.
And got a max contract.
Now that was stupid on.
That's where the decision making. That's where you can really talk about the decision making. You making out, that your contract and your bread is gonna be on your performance, and you can't keep your weight down. Now, I'm going to tell you this, though. Living in New Orleans, it's tough. It's tough.
It ain't tough.
Hey, shit.
But I could do it for money.
It ain't tough.
For bread,
I think I could, too.
It ain't tough.
But, man.
All you do is hire.
Man, that New Orleans food is something serious, boy.
If you hire
it'll
a chef,
change your life.
If you hire a chef and only eat at home, guess what you're not going to do? You are not going to mess
But
up
I
your
don't think
weight.
you got to do that. If you're working out properly, you ain't even got to do all that. That just tells me he ain't working out properly.
He ain't working out, yeah.
Because you can go out and eat and work out and still keep your weight right. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of folks do that. A lot of folks just eat normal and then they work out intensively.
But with his history, he would need the extreme of having
probably
a better
chef,
diet,
and never eat anything outside of what his chefs give him.
Probably
because the team, fitness people can give him his caloric intake and everything.
So he signed through 28.
That's what requires
this year.
I would have been traded.
Well, he ain't traded. Would you trade him now? Is what I'm asking.
Yeah. Yes. I would have traded him after his first healthy season. I would have traded him.
If you're a team that's like a player away, I'm trying to think who would you trade for him?
It depends on what I'm giving away. You know what I'm saying? I'm not giving away the farm. I'm not finna do a let's see, who gave away the farm before? Give me a team that gave away the farm.
None recently. None.
It'll have to be a contract for contract type situation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I have to get some valuable pieces, and I'm not going to exploit my future first round picks.
So you're not giving up your high picks for him.
Nah.
Let's say 3 future firsts, high first.
Maybe one future first.
One.
Maybe one.
Yeah, because
and a player.
He gonna be in New Orleans then. He gonna be in New Orleans then.
No, he gonna get traded. He gonna get moved.
Nah, for no one pick, I guarantee you it's gonna be multiple. It's gonna be 3.
That would be a dumbass team.
If Rudy Gobert went for that,
that's over.
Zion.
We've already seen Kevin Durant get traded for less. So no.
Kevin Durant. We saw Kevin Durant get traded for that.
Nevertheless, it was Kevin Durant.
It can't be nevertheless. That's 34-year-old. This is a 23-year-old. You're not giving away a 23-year-old for one pick. You're not.
He's going
because of what he's done in those 3 years on the court. You're not doing it.
He's going to be moved.
Not for no one pick. He won't.
I can't see him get more than one. I can't see
Y'all
him get
crazy
more than one first round.
Y'all crazy as hell. Now, would I do it? No.
That's what you asked. Would I do?
But I'm saying the market is going to dictate more than that, though. He's 23. I'm sorry. He's the same age as Ant.
But not when you've played less than half the games.
But you know how these teams are. They looking for let's get him with our nutrition people, our trainers. We can change.
He has missed.
You already know.
Again, one future first round pick and maybe another player. I'm not giving away the farm for him.
He's missed more games than played. That's number one. Yes, his numbers are big when he plays.
Then he's gonna be in New Orleans.
No, he's gonna get moved.
He's gonna be in New Orleans.
I don't know if he'll get moved or not. If I'm New Orleans,
because you got to think about that market too. You get rid of Zion, who the hell coming?
If I'm New Orleans, I'm entertaining offers.
Right,
but I'm not going to put myself in a worse position to trade him.
Thank you.
I'd
because you're a small market team already. You need a star to get people to come.
I'd sit pat.
So what are they going to do?
Before I just gave them away.
I tell you, forget. They have good players on that team. They still have.
They don't want Ingram.
They still got Ingram gone. He played in Toronto.
Oh yeah,
they still have old boy from Bama, Herbert. They still got Herbert.
That ain't
a defensive
Let me finish. I started at the low end. I did that on purpose.
I know you ain't finna say, boy, that was in Portland.
They started
McCollum.
They still have Herbert. They still have the off the bench point guard with the sneak move.
He talking about bench point guard.
And they still, I'm here. I am rounded up. They still have McCollum.
We know that's where you're going.
And they still have old boy that got hurt as soon as he got there from Atlanta.
DeJounte
Murray. So they still got good players. They are getting off of Zion.
They need stars, though.
Well, it's hard to get stars. They
right, which is why you're not just going to give Zion away.
Right.
That's my whole point.
You're not just going to give him away.
He's gone.
You're not giving Zion away.
They're not just going to give him away.
He's going to go. He's going to be gone for some picks and players. Gone.
You're not giving him away, bro.
Yeah, I'm getting picks. If I'm New Orleans, I'm getting picks and I'm getting a piece.
And a piece.
That
can help me win games.
No, that's not gonna happen. They are gonna want compensation, number one, and they are gonna want players that don't get hurt.
He's under contract.
They are not going to be trying to get.
They're not just giving him away, bro. When he's under contract,
I see him in Brooklyn, and I see that Johnson boy who came from Phoenix with Mikal Bridges going to New Orleans.
Okay, here goes some of the potential trade offers they have for Zion. This is to the Hawks.
Is Brooklyn on there?
I'll let you know. For the Hawks, DeAndre Hunter, Mecca, of course, he's gone now. Mecca, I don't even know how to, a Kongu, a 2025 first round pick, and two 2025 first round picks. Basically, and Mecca, whatever his name, or Kongu. Ain't no way in hell I'm doing that.
He's just a defense. He's just a defensive end.
Right.
Yeah, he's just a
backup center.
Brooklyn
he's like
Nets
a forward.
Are on there. Cam Johnson, Cam Thomas, Zaire Williams, and a 2025 first round pick.
They can keep Cam Thomas. I wouldn't want him.
You can sit there and keep Cam.
Hornets.
Give me Johnson and the money.
Miles Bridges, Micic, 2027 first, 2027 first, and a 29 first. Three first round picks. Exactly. You're not giving him away, bro.
I would trade him for Miles Bridges, but Miles Bridges don't move the needle on the other end.
Bulls, Lonzo Ball, Kobe White.
They just want him gone, though.
That's a player and 3 first round picks, though.
They just want
3 first round picks.
That's 3 first round
picks. 3
picks.
of them, exactly. You're not giving them away for one pick. The Bulls, Lonzo Ball, Kobe White, and a 2025 first, 2025.
Didn't they have Lonzo Ball at one point?
Lonzo Ball.
Why would you want that hit?
Why would you want him back? Exactly.
Speaking of trash, Lonzo Ball, Ben Simmons, and Zion Williamson. 3 of the biggest
is the one I really wanted to
disappointments in the league in a long
Denver Nuggets. This is the one I looked at last night that I wanted y'all's opinion on. They give up Aaron Gordon.
Not going to happen.
Dario Saric, and a 2031 first.
Not going to happen. Aaron Gordon, this is the first time we've seen Aaron Gordon deal with a major injury that limited his play, and that dude still went out there and played with a busted hamstring. Fuck Zion. They are not.
Would you do it if you didn't?
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Gordon just won 2 games in the playoffs.
How would Joker's presence unlock him if he's on the court?
And a 3-pointer to end the game.
He got to improve his 3-point shooting.
He would have to.
But him being
dude ain't going to stay on the court. That is a no. They will not bring him into no Denver to play alongside Joker, and he's missed more games than he played.
Okay, what about the young Pistons? They get Hardaway Jr., Isaiah Stewart,
him being in the darker spot. Ooh,
and the first. I know. That's what I'm saying.
With Joker passing,
that's not bad.
Well, I hate the Pistons, so I would love to see him go to the Pistons.
All right, one last one before we get up out of here. Warriors. And they give away Kuminga.
Now, they need players to be healthy.
2 first round picks.
No. Well, they
25 and 27.
They could do it.
I mean, why wouldn't they do it if the Pelicans dumb enough to do that shit?
Yeah,
Kuminga and 2 first round picks. And Golden State ain't got no high first round picks.
Right. That's the thing about it. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm saying for Golden State part, would you do it?
I mean, Golden State would, but the Pelicans would.
Jimmy gonna be gone.
Why?
Because Jimmy won't. That's all. The Jimmy. Oh no, did they sign? They did. They signed Jimmy.
He signed.
Okay, yeah.
They got him.
And then where you put him with Draymond playing in the 4?
You make Draymond play the 5.
Got to play the 5.
The 4.
Got to have to play small.
Draymond defends all the good centers anyway, so you just leave him in. You just an undersized.
So that's
just an undersized.
They in the same position that they've been in, and that's why they keep getting beat because they super undersized.
I agree, man, but I just hope he start to make better decisions, man, because it's just like, one last one. The Cavs. That was the last one I saw last night on the thing.
Who, Mobley?
Yeah, Mobley and somebody else. It was Mobley and somebody.
That's not
a pick.
It's not a.
It was Darius Garland. Mobley. They said was untouchable. It was Darius Garland and Jared Allen.
Oh no, I wouldn't do that.
And a pick. I think it was.
I wouldn't do that. If I'm Cleveland, I ain't no way.
Him and Donovan Mitchell on the same team just wouldn't be a good fit. Wouldn't be a good fit.
Number one,
because Zion is not a defensive presence.
A true power forward on the defensive side for real, where he can guard.
He can help side beat, but he's not a good defender. He's horrible on defense. The first thing you got to think of is, listen, number one, he is who he is. He's not gonna get in shape. It's not gonna happen. Okay.
I mean, I hate to put that on young.
It's not.
Like that,
it's not. It's not gonna happen.
I mean, but there's probably a lot of people when we was in our early 20s say, "Oh, he ain't gonna never change. He gonna."
He preferred.
You can't really just say that about a young person.
He obviously has. I remember when he first came into the league, the people in his circle were saying that they shouldn't be worried about his weight. He done played at this weight his whole life. So if that's what your circle's saying, then guess who else believes that? Zion.
That's fine, but I believed a lot of stuff when I was 23 and 24 that changed over time. Okay. Stuff I was different in my career as a leader than I am now, or as I was as a 28-year-old. And then I was different at 28 than I was at 24.
And then the Pelicans reinforced him in his beliefs because they gave him a bag. Now they put the conditions around it, and he started losing on those conditions, which was a smart part of the contract. But nevertheless, they still gave him the contract. And he still did the same thing. Even with the 300 mil or 200 and some mil on the table.
Yeah, it's going to be about what he wants his career to look like, man. He's going to have to make, at some point, he's going to have to make a decision.
He is who he is. This is athletics. He ain't showed us nobody still gonna be out of shape. He's still gonna be messing with the wrong women, and he'll be out the league.
Out the league? You think that's coming soon? You know what I'm saying? You think that's coming soon?
He better hope these allegations ain't got no bite.
I mean, of course, if he did it for real, then okay, that's something totally different.
Ben Simmons,
I'm assuming that it's a money grab. I always assume that until facts come out.
Ben Simmons about to be out the league too. Where you gonna go after?
But you would have thought he was done.
He definitely belongs out the league.
You would have thought he was already out for real.
He might as well
trash, man.
And everything.
They say the Clips trying to get your boy.
Hey, America, do y'all know that Ben Simmons is the reason why we created this segment? Remember when we first did our first
videos he always putting out during the summer.
Ben Simmons was the first one that
we are not crediting Ben Simmons for our signature segment of this show.
Yes, we are.
That is not happening.
We are.
It's the truth, though.
It's the truth.
It's the truth.
That's the first one we did.
He was trash, boy.
Before we even brought Dante into the fold, when we did the little Facebook Live shit, we brought Ben Simmons up. And he was fucking
trash.
I can't believe how trash of a player he is. Horrible.
We about to leave America, but I got to ask a question. You know what's already coming up in the news, though? They already asking your boy about.
What?
Would he pardon Diddy? You know they asked him already. Could he pardon Diddy?
Oh, we keep going to stuff.
I'm just saying, dog.
Fuck Trump. Fuck that.
I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? They already asked.
And people up here with this damn that he freed Larry, who he still got a 200-year sentence in the state. He just commuted the federal sentence. The NBA young boy, congratulations on your freedom, but it ain't.
But let them tax evaders go. The Chrisleys.
Yeah.
Let them go.
Yeah, he did that all in one fell swoop so he wouldn't be. Whatever.
Letting criminals go.
That's all. That's
all it is. You know what I'm saying? I'm not celebrating any of that shit.
Hell no.
None of it.
What does that change for my life?
How does that help America at all?
Until you free all the people that's in jail for goddamn weed and selling cocaine, miss me with all that shit.
Miss me with it, you know what I'm saying? But that's all we have time for today, man. Trash Talking with the Old Heads. Again, do not forget to hit that like and subscribe button on YouTube.
Subscribe.
Also, the Facebook page. And again, that Patreon page, Trash Talking with the Old Heads, is on
We
the
finna
way.
sell our products to the world.
$5 a month. That's all it costs.
To the world, Craig.
To support this old head movement, man, where we can give you this content, man. Check out the Patreon page. Coming soon.
Yes,
Get out of here, man.
Peace.